Okay, we've had 7 sessions of Taharas HaMishpacha, and this will be the 8th session. We've already discussed that when a woman has a menstrual period, or vesses, we start counting a minimum of 5 days, and at the end of the minimum of 5 days, even if the bleeding only lasts just a few minutes, we count at least 5 days. And then we have a Tahara where the woman examines herself very carefully, and that we've gone through all that there. She changes her undergarments and changes her bedsheet and everything, and she wears white garments for the 7 days that she counts, where she examines herself twice a day, once in the morning and once in the late afternoon. And it's better to wear white so you can see if there's. It will still be all right, but it's harder to watch. We want to be concerned if there is any bleeding. All right, now, let's say now everything is gone to say that everything's fine. She's now nearing the end of the 7th day, the 7 clean days. And now, what Rabbi Miller, in his book, The Secret of the Jew, gives a few directions. With your indulgence, I will read it. The essence of preparation for the tefillah, that means the immersion is to cleanse the whole body, removing all adhesive, sticky material, or anything that may intervene or hinder the water of the mikveh coming in direct contact with every part of the body at the time of tefillah. And such parts, openings of the body, with which the water does not naturally come in contact, must nevertheless be in condition for a contact. Accordingly, rings, earrings, bracelets, and other ornaments, plasters, bandages, and beauty patches, and so forth must be removed for the purpose of washing the whole body clean. And of course, they should not be worn at the time of tefillah. Any scab, that's blood that has been clotted or dried, formed on a sore or wound, is to be soaked and softened in warm water. You don't have to remove the scab, but you soak it. B, the woman should cut or at least trim her fingernails and toenails, and thirdly, remove from them all dirt or foreign matter underneath the nails. It's advisable to use a nail brush and to remove all traces of stain or nail dressing. There's discussion made about what if a woman works in something that she has a natural stain on her, and that is, you're constantly working on it, that's different. We're talking about where the woman doesn't have this, that's it. You see, what we're talking about, you wash the best you can. Yeah, you keep your skin. You don't destroy it. No, don't take the chunk out. I wouldn't advise that. Number 3, the woman should remove all dirt and foreign matter from her eyes, ears, nostrils, armpits, and all concealed places of her body. Also syringe or wash for vagina. That's why we're learning.
But when they say why do you don't have to wash internally?
No. But this is what Rabbi Miller suggests.
Internally, there's nothing inside. What do you?
No, you don't have to wash. There's nothing inside you.
It's not like
no, he gives.
brushing your teeth.
No, it isn't. There is a difference. But one thing, if she has any diaphragm or anything in there, sometimes women do wear it.
It depends. You need a heifer.
You have to ask a Rav first before you can do it. A man is not permitted to practice self-control because he's obligated, Al-Pidin Torah, to be fruitful and to multiply. A Jewish woman is not commanded on these. A Jewish woman is obligated, yes.
It's every.
You have to take.
And not all birth controls are okay because you cannot kill sperm.
That's right. You're not permitted to destroy sperm. You have to ask a shaila, but you can't do that. But if it was there, she should remove it because that's a foreign matter, a foreign thing in it. It is proper that before tefillah, what?
That a woman can do?
There are things sometimes you can do, but she has to ask a shaila. If, for instance, God forbid, and it should never happen, that there is a question that the woman would die if she got pregnant, then you would ask the Rav about such a thing.
Yeah, because during childbirth she may die, so if she gets pregnant, then you're just going to have to kill the baby anyway, so just...
No, we're not trying to. You have to ask a shaila. You can't just blithely assume that you have a hearing. Naftali, you have a shaila.
Would the woman want to consult with the rabbi in terms of is that what we're saying?
No, a woman, you must understand something. It is nothing immodest whatsoever. We're talking about something that is very, very holy activity, and the Torah requires it to be treated as a holy activity. And if there's a necessity for certain, she has to consult a Rav that's competent to discuss this with her. Just like she would, if a woman becomes pregnant, would have an OB. She would go to that type of a doctor that specializes in pregnancies, because there are certain problems that develop and should never develop, but he can give her proper advice in that area. When you're in an area where there is a question in one's life, you have to ask a question. You can't just go and die and then decide maybe I should have asked the question. That's not the way to do it. You first ask the question. Yes. Yes, dealing with everything that a person can do or not. Well, we'll discuss it at a different time. Right now I want to discuss this. In fact, this is another subject for another study matter. Another area. Thanks God there's a lot of areas. It is proper to Rabbi Miller continues in his book. It starts on page 163 in A Secret of the Jew. And he says that before tefillah she should fulfill any inclination for bowel movement or urination. And she should wash her whole body perfectly clean. This is before the tefillah. You don't go into the tefillah to get yourself clean. You got to clean yourself before you go into the waiting. She should carefully cleanse her mouth and teeth so that there be no particle of food lodged between her teeth or stuck in her mouth at the time of tefillah. That means a toothpick or whatever is necessary, a gloss or whatever is necessary to clean the teeth. She should loosen her hair, undo curls, coils, curls, and wash it thoroughly, and wash the scalp and the hair and all other parts of her body in warm or lukewarm water. It is forbidden to use cold water for this purpose. She should comb her hair diligently so that no hair is left tangled or stuck to another. Any soap which may tend to leave any substance adhering to her body or to harden and tangle the hair must not be used. You got to choose the proper type of a soap.
What type of soap would you?
Himalaya, you have expertise in the...
I try to avoid, I just use, some soap that's really not...
All right. It is best, if possible, to make use of a regular bathtub, taking a full warm bath, or at least avail herself of a shower bath for this cleansing before. A lot of times you notice that in your eyes there develops a little hard, all of there, and in your nose sometimes you have there, and whatever it is, you try to cleanse out as best you can. It is best and most commendable to make all these preparations at the end of the 7th clean day, and usually by daylight, and at the place where the mikveh is located, and to perform tefillah on the onset of the night. You have to it's got to be completely night. In other words, you've got to have 7 complete days. You can't have 6.5 days or 6 3/4 days. It's got to be 7 complete days. And immediately after the preparation. However, should conditions hinder compliance with these, the preparations may be made at another time, in the evening or by artificial light, in their own home or any suitable place, and going to the mikveh afterwards. And in the case of necessity, tefillah may be performed during the day and at an interval following the preparation, as specified hereinafter. Next day, yeah. In the event she's prevented from making her preparation at the end of the 7th day while daylight, she may do so at night following the 7th clean day or thereafter. Should the tefillah happen to come on a Friday evening or on the eve of any holy day, a Yom Tov, at which time, although it is permitted to perform tefillah, nevertheless it's prohibited to make the final preparation. So according to the laws governing the observance of Shabbos or Yom Tov. So she should make her preparations on the Friday afternoon or on the afternoon preceding the Yom Tov, during the time one is still permitted to work. In other words, you do it just a little earlier. If the tefillah is due to occur on Saturday evening, B'tzui Shabbos, going out of Shabbos, or the evening after a holy day after Yom Tov, preparation should be made that night. You make the night when you Shabbos, you go there and you make all preparations. She does it in the mikveh there. She washes herself and she cleanses herself and takes a bath before she goes to the mikveh. All the activities she does. In other words, you need a little time to do all this, do it right. And then she pares her nails and does everything that has to be done. All right, then. Okay, fine. Regardless of all these other things, she must also perform those 2 bedikas that we were talking about every day of the 7 clean days. The last day, she didn't get excited and forget to make her bedika on that day. She should also do that. But this is after that's been done. In any occasion, when there is an intermission between the preparation for tefillah and performance of the tefillah, she should again attentively look over her body and her hair before intermission to see that all is clean and proper. It says it is advisable to wear a hairnet or use any other means to protect the hair, prevent it from becoming entangled during this interval, if she had a long interval. Of course, if she's in the mikveh, there she doesn't have to wear necessarily a hairnet. When you go and dip into the water, the immersion has to be complete. Now, hair has a way of becoming buoyant and getting higher, yes.
And before you make the actual immersion.
Before you make the actual immersion, yes. Yeah, just so those, if you clean it.
a big look for short hair.
No, not necessarily, but in addition to everything, from the time she's ready for the preparations for the tefillah, until tefillah actually takes place, she'd avoid handling or coming in contact with any adhesive or glutinous substance such as dough, gum, or any other things which are likely to stick to her body. And they come on now, on those who are difficult to remove. Particularly must she be cautious about this when there is an interview between the preparation and the tefillah. And the longer the interview, the more careful must she be. If for any reason she has come in contact with such adhesive sticking substance, she must carefully wash again these parts of the body affected. All right. From the day when she is ready for preparation of tefillah until the tefillah actually takes place, she should avoid eating such foods as cling to the teeth or mouth, such as meats, hard cheese, and so forth. Under normal conditions, she should avoid partaking of food between the preparation and the tefillah. If food must be partaken in such circumstances as when there is an interview between the preparation and the tefillah, and then she avoids such foods as have a tendency to cling to the teeth or mouth. At any rate, when the food is partaken of, she should be careful to clean her teeth and mouth again before the preparation of tefillah. All right, now everything is finished, and she looks everything over to make sure that everything is okay. And now, any kind of cap which prevents the hair from becoming wet must not, under any certain conditions, be worn before the mikveh. All right, now that you got everything there, the woman is to go into the mikveh nude and immerse herself in the matter so that her whole body and all of her hair is at one time, the same time, submerged. It doesn't mean she has to stay under until she drowns. God forbid. But just a fraction of a second. What?
Is someone there with her?
Yes. She should have, at the time that she's doing all this, there should be another Jewish, religiously observant woman present to see that all the requirements are complete.
What if she feels embarrassed?
They're not looking. A woman's going to look at another woman. They wait until you get into the water if you're embarrassed type like that.
Just make sure your head's everything's
They'll just keep out their robe until they're in the water, then they let it off.
Yeah, whatever.
It's really, you know what it is, the way,
Maybe.
I'm a very shy person.
I'm a very shy person. I remember,
That never affects me.
no, once in a, when you're just among women.
If you're shy among women like it,
Yep.
or so that you would never feel, you would never, sit there, it
Yeah.
leaves you.
All right, now, she should at the time of the tefillah, the waiting pool is like a little swimming pool. It's got stairs going down, and you hang on to get down there so you don't slip or anything, and you get down to the level. The water is usually up to about your chest there, so that you just have to submerge just enough that get below that. But she should retain her natural position and posture as much as possible at the time of the tefillah. Must not assume a position which would prevent water from coming in contact with every part of the body. She should not hold on anything if she can avoid it. If she must hold on for safety, then she may do so, not too tightly, and providing that the object held is underwater. The rail that goes all the way down goes under the water. So, what? Yes, that's right. They're not going to make you feel embarrassed. Because, first of all, this is a big mitzvah. And everybody's trying to do it. And we need somebody else to observe, because just because you go under the water, you don't know if you went all the way. Maybe a portion of your hair is above the water and you couldn't see it because you're under the water as far as your eyes are concerned. So you really need somebody else to watch you. Her feet should not be too close to each other. She should not press her arms to her body. Should not touch her hands. Her lips should not be pressed together, but it's natural. Remain in a natural and easy position. What? No. She should not have her eyelids too far open or firmly closed. Not like that. But they're just closed, just regular closed. Yeah. She should. Yeah, regularly closed. Yeah. She should not bend or stoop down too much so that folds may be formed preventing contact of the water with the parts of her body.
What if a woman's very tall and put her over and she's got a...
She should lay down.
4 feet, she's still...
Should she go like on the side?
Well, she could do it that way. In fact, she should bear herself boldly, naturally, in an easy rather than in a nervous manner. At the first time you're in there, of course, you'll be a little nervous, but after a while, God provides. You get a little more used to it. It's also best when stepping in the mikveh that she should wet every part of her hair and all the parts of her body first. You wet it all up, even before you immerse all the way, and then immerse yourself completely. In other words, she wets everything. Water. Should the least part of her hair or body not be completely covered and under the water at one time, at the time of immersion, then the tefillah is ineffective and of no account, and she remains in a state of nida as before the tefillah. In case the woman discovers after tefillah that she has not removed any article on or attached to her body, or any adhesive, sticky material, adhering to any part of her body or her hair, that tefillah is nullified. She must perform it again properly. In other words, sometimes it happens. You just go down again, that's all. It is very important that at the time a woman performs tefillah, that she'd have another Jewish religiously observant woman present to see that all requirements are complied with, particularly that the immersion is complete and proper. If such a woman cannot be conveniently obtained, then the husband of the woman performing the tefillah should... I recall several times that I was performing this for my wife, and she went to the mikveh, nobody else was available. Yeah. If there's nobody else available, what?
But even if there is someone there, can you still request to do that?
Well, it's really...
But you can't go into the mikveh when there's other women.
There's other women that are all on the state of undress. They don't want men around at that time.
You know, you don't see them. Men shouldn't go in at the time.
No, at the time when I was watching my wife, there was nobody else in the mikveh, in the building. So we had a mikveh on the south side where it was a very small one. It's not like the big one was here.
You can't, at this mikveh, there's someone there. It's made...
Right, now the Rabbi Miller goes on a further step. What if, God forbid, you have nobody available? There's nobody, even your husband's out of town and business, and there's no other woman to watch you. And you come, you're it. The woman that nobody else to watch you. So she's gone to mikveh several times under supervision, so now she has to do what she's supposed to do.
You have a sign on the...
Yeah, no, you got... In that event, it's almost necessary that she wear a hairnet loosely fitted to assure the complete submersion, including her hair, when she does go down, yes.
Would there be another way of doing it? A woman doesn't get really that long.
Well, that'd be nice too, if you can.
If a woman goes down to the level
Where it's no question about it, she would be...
if she looks up to the border.
Yeah, so the
There's
problem...
no hair. I mean,
There's no hair, that's fine, that would be all right too. I'm just talking, this is what it says, yes, not so.
What position are there certain positions that are...
It's not to make it, shouldn't put so that the water can come a natural way.
Backward, forward,
No, there's a standing up,
bending your knees, basically.
and you bend the knees a lot, like, yeah.
Arms and you get your fingers
Yeah,
relaxed.
yeah, you relax. God, King of the universe, can say it in English,
Yep.
who has sanctified us by thy commandments and commanded us concerning tefillah. That's it. It's that hard.
They help you.
But can I say it without any clothes on?
Yeah, what a woman does, you see, a man has to have a garter between his sex organs and the upper part of his body. A woman just to hold her hands, just to hold her hands like this, crossing there and make the bracha. You understand? That's sufficient for a woman. It's a good question you ask.
Can you pray like that?
A woman can, not a man.
Can she say other prayers like that?
No, we're not there to make prayers, she's making.
How many women get naked?
You're not having a shul there, you're just getting the tefillah.
So that's the
It would
only
be better if they did not. Okay, you might need a Rabbi's.
Even if you don't say the bracha, but you immerse.
Yeah, even if you didn't say the bracha, and you immersed, all right, it's okay too. The bracha doesn't...
If you only immerse once, do you say the bracha after?
Yes, because this is an exception to the rule. The ordinary rule that when you make a bracha, you should say the bracha before you do the thing or eat the fruit that you're going to eat. In this particular case, it's an exception to the rule. Why? Because when you have a tefillah by a convert, can't say the bracha that you commanded us until he's already immersed. So he has to immerse first. He's not a Jew until he becomes. So it has to be. So we follow that too. And since if it's close enough to it, that's what they usually do. And a lot of times, is the woman immerses once, she says the bracha, and then she immerses a second time. But strictly speaking, Pidin, one complete immersion is sufficient for this purpose. You understand? In the middle. Huh? Yeah, when the woman did it. All right. So you got a pretty good understanding of it now. After this, after she immerses from the woman is now Torah. She's ritually clean. She's permitted to have sex with her husband and to touch him and to sleep with him and do anything else that they two prefer to do within reason. And they can live together sexually for the next 2 weeks or so until, again,
Unless there's somewhat travel.
we're talking about the ordinary type. There's always exceptions to everything, Baruch Hashem. And that you would by now. There's never a general rule that doesn't have exceptions to it. That's
Like, guys,
all right, fine.
So,
Now, in relation to this, we will have, believe it or not, a 9th session in Mikveh. We'll discuss a few other points about it that I think would be very laudable. I recall when I was in the highest Gemara class, Rabbi Chaim David Regensburg, my teacher, although it was Osher, an assistant, and if you wish me to, I will teach it to you too. The entire Rabbeinu Osher takes out from the entire tractate of the Gemara Nidov all the points that are relevant.
this is
Pretty big, yeah. It'll take more than one session. But don't be the third of that. It's always good to learn. And then if you wish, we can also learn the laws of mikvos. We can start again, of the laws of mikvahs. What is a kosher mikvah and what is not? Yeah, from Mishnayos. There's no Gemara on it. So, all in all, we can learn many things. Now, we've discussed anything. Is there any questions in what we discussed? Has everybody understood it? Fine. We should all live to, all of you that are not married, you should marry kosher Jewish girls that are religiously inclined, that help you to observe this great mitzvah of Taharas HaMishpacha. And you should merit to have children that grow up to Torah and Chuppah, Maisim Tovim. They should have all the good schusim to do it. Remember that the mitzvah of Taharas HaMishpacha is one of the foundations of Judaism. And if you uphold it in a proper fashion, you will be blessed with children that will be B'nai Torah, and you will be blessed with a long life. And God will bless you in everything you do. You will have children that are pure.